Mongol invasion of Europe. The invasion that nearly changed Western civilization forever. In the winter of 1237, Europe still believed it was the center of the known world. Kings argued over borders. Knights trained for tournaments and regional wars. Bishops debated theology. Life moved within stone walls and medieval certainty. Far to the east, beyond forests and endless plains, something else was moving. Not chaos. Not barbarians. A machine. Decades earlier, the Mongol Empire had been forged by Genghis Khan, a man who transformed scattered nomadic tribes into the most efficient military force on earth. After his death, expansion did not slow. Under Ogdi Khan, the empire grew even more organized, more systematic, more ambitious. The Western campaign was not emotional revenge. It was strategy. Leading it were two extraordinary commanders. Batu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan. Subutai, master strategist of long-distance warfare. Subutai had studied Europe years before the invasion began. He knew its geography, its political fractures, its reliance on heavy cavalry and slow mobilization. He saw weakness. The first shock, the destruction of the East. The Mongols did not begin with Paris or Rome. They began with the lands of Kievan Rus, the network of Slavic principalities that controlled the gateway into Europe. They struck in winter. Frozen rivers became highways. Snow-muffled movement. Enemy armies were unprepared for large-scale winter warfare. Cities fell one by one. Ryazan was destroyed in 1237. Vladimir fell soon after, then Moscow, at the time a minor town. Each siege followed the same pattern. Demand surrender, offer survival. If refused, annihilate resistance. This was not uncontrolled slaughter. It was psychological warfare. By the time the Mongols reached Kiev in 1240, fear traveled faster than their horses. Kiev was one of the great cities of Eastern Europe. Its walls collapsed under siege engines perfected during Mongol campaigns in China and Central Asia. When Kiev fell, Europe understood something terrifying. The Mongols were not raiders. They were conquerors. The divide and destroy strategy. In 1241, Subutai executed one of the boldest operational plans in medieval history. He split the Mongol army. One force moved into Poland, another marched into Hungary. European commanders would never have dared divide their strength like this. Subutai did it deliberately. The goal was simple. Prevent unity, force confusion, destroy armies separately. The Battle of Legnica, Poland. European knights gathered to confront the Mongols in Poland. They were armored, disciplined, and confident in close combat. Medieval warfare in Europe favored decisive clashes, heavy cavalry charging into enemy lines. The Mongols refused to fight that battle. Instead, mounted archers began circling from a distance, releasing coordinated waves of arrows. They retreated deliberately, appearing disorganized. The European knights charged. It was exactly what the Mongols wanted. The retreat turned into an encirclement. Horse archers attacked from multiple sides. Commanders fell. Units lost cohesion. The Polish-German army collapsed. Europe had just faced a style of warfare it did not understand. The Battle of Mohi, Hungary. While Poland reeled from defeat, the main Mongol force struck Hungary. King Bela IV assembled one of the largest armies in Central Europe and fortified his position near the Sejo River. He expected a frontal assault across the bridge. Subutai attacked the bridge, but only as distraction. During the night, Mongol engineers constructed a hidden crossing downstream. At dawn, Hungarian forces found themselves attacked from multiple directions. Encircled, bombarded, overwhelmed. The Hungarian army disintegrated. The Mongols poured into the countryside, devastating settlements and eliminating resistance. Within months, Central Europe stood exposed. Why Europe could not stop them? The Mongol advantage was not just brutality. It was system. Each warrior commanded multiple horses, allowing unprecedented speed. They could travel up to 100 kilometers per day, far beyond European mobility. Their armies were organized into decimal units. enabling tight coordination. Orders moved quickly, retreats were controlled, maneuvers were pre-planned. They combined mobility with siege technology borrowed from Chinese engineers. They used intelligence networks to scout terrain and political weaknesses. Europe's feudal armies, raised temporarily and often disorganized, were simply not built to respond to such warfare. Had the Mongols advanced immediately toward Vienna, northern Italy, or southern Germany, there were few forces left capable of stopping them. The road west lay open, the turning point no one expected. And then they stopped. In late 1241, news arrived that Genghis Khan had died in Mongolia. According to Mongol political tradition, princes were expected to return east to decide succession. Batu Khan chose withdrawal. In 1242, the Mongol army retreated from Hungary and Central Europe. Not because Europe defeated them, not because resistance had succeeded, but because politics thousands of kilometers away demanded attention. History pivoted on a distant death. The shadow that remained. The Mongols did not vanish entirely from Europe. Eastern territories, especially Russian lands, remained under Mongol domination for over 2 centuries under what became known as the Golden Horde. Russian political development, military organization, and even tax systems were influenced by Mongol rule. Western Europe, though spared conquest, was permanently changed. Fortifications improved, military tactics evolved, the fear of Eastern cavalry lingered for generations. The invasion proved something profound. Europe was not untouchable. The question that still haunts historians: if Genghis Khan had not died, if Batu had continued west, if the Mongol armies had marched into the heart of Europe, would medieval Western civilization have survived? We cannot know. But in 1241, the Mongols stood closer to dominating Europe than most people realize. The storm had reached the continent. And for a brief moment in history, the fate of Europe hung on events unfolding far beyond its borders.